All right, we're good to go.
Okay, hi. Welcome, everyone. I am Jeannie Kelly, and I'm so glad you can join today. I wanted to switch things up. I know you know me as a credit expert, so I wanted to switch things up because I learned how important it is to have more than one stream of income. And honestly, I didn't know that before until you hit sometimes some hiccups in your industry. So I learned it the hard way, and I'm here to share that I'm excited about because I think a lot of people don't know about it. So that's why I'm here to share it with you. I'm very excited as a business owner to keep motivating myself, challenging myself. And you know, if you know me well, how important it is my circle, who I surround myself with. So I'm super excited to have a huge mentor of mine here to do the presentation for me. And I don't know if you realize he is the author of Building an Empire, Mr. Brian Carruther. So thank you so much, Brian, for jumping on this presentation and doing this for me today.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure, an honor, and definitely appreciate the opportunity to be on here with all of you guys here today. Let me just go ahead and do this. I'm gonna do a quick screen share, and so I can get into some information and then get underway here. 1 second. Here we go. All right. Well, super. Let me just start off by just saying, first of all, I know this is the middle of the day for everybody, so I will keep this as brief as I possibly can. My quick story, I was born into a real estate family in the Washington, D.C. area. When I got out of Villanova University with my accounting degree, I came back to Maryland and jumped into the real estate business as a real estate agent. And by the time I was 25, I was making a six-figure income. I mean, here's a picture of me on the cover of the Washington Business Journal real estate section years ago with my name on the sign and a double-breasted suit and overcoat, which shows us a few years ago. We don't wear that anymore. But that was my life. I was working basically 7 days a week, 8 to faint. Just a lot of hours. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to working a lot, feeling like you're on that perpetual grind, on that treadmill. Here's a picture of my family, except for I have to add another one. We've got a 5-month-old baby. It has not been added to this picture yet. But as Jeannie said, mentorship is everything. And there's something called the law of association. And I wanted to get around people that were living at a different level, at a higher level. And I started hanging around people like Robert Kiyosaki from the author Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Cash Flow Quadrant. I've actually been able to spend time with billionaire Paul J. Meyer, learning a lot from him about how to not work for money, but have money working for you, which has been a phenomenal addition to how I've been creating cash flow and living my lifestyle. I've been very fortunate to write 3 #1 best-selling books. And there's a reason why for that, because people want to learn how to win at this money game. And so, by the way, Grant Cardone, you hear him on the radio. He's a massive social media influencer worldwide now, talking about why people need to learn this information. But today I want to talk to you all about the project. When I talk about making my first 10 million, which is that title of my first book I wrote years ago, how did I do that? Well, disruptive innovators have come along and reshaped entire industries. Whoever solves the biggest problems for the most people make the most money, right? And so we all know some of these innovators that have come along because we're using them day to day in our everyday lives. For example, when I went to speak at a conference in Oklahoma City a few years ago, I grabbed our suitcases. My wife and I go to the curb. There's a taxi cab sitting there, and I asked him how much it's going to cost to get us to the Renaissance downtown. He quotes me $35. My wife pulls out her phone, hits her Uber app. 3 minutes later, car pulls up, takes us down there, $11.40. It's just a better model, better experience. Blockbuster used to be how we rented a movie. Get in the car, brave the weather, even if it's cold or snowing, get a movie, take it home, watch the movie, take it back there the next day to beat the clock so you don't get a late fee. Or if you're old like me, if you didn't rewind the tape, you get a rewind fee. Remember those days? Well, now Netflix comes along. You can watch anything you want, unlimited on any device for a tiny monthly fee. It put Blockbuster out of business. Airbnb's come along to the hospitality industry. iTunes, Apple put basically Tower Records on the record stores out of business. You take a look at what Amazon has done, putting under Sports Authority and Toys R Us, and they've gobbled up Whole Foods, getting into the entire, basically getting into our entire lives. So we've got an opportunity, guys, to take a look at a company that is tackling two massive industries, two massive problems that we all have in our lives. And again, whoever solves the biggest problems but can make the most money. These companies that have disrupted these models, they have made our lives easier and more affordable, and they have made a fortune in the process. So the two companies, the two game changers that we actually have is, number one, Legal Shield. And some of you guys may or may not know what Legal Shield is. You might know about Legal Shield, you might have heard about Legal Shield because it's starting to become a well-known company. In the grand scheme of things, though, very few people even know about it. And people who think they do, if they have not actually used Legal Shield, they just don't know. So when people look at the legal profession, they say, "Oh my gosh, legal system's broken." It's not. It works really well for people who can afford $300 an hour. But if you can't, you're priced out. If you live in America, if you don't know your rights, you can't defend your rights, you might as well not have any rights. Well, along comes the digital disruptor, Legal Shield. And this company was founded 40-some years ago. But it's not until recently that they now have an app that goes right on your phone that is completely changing the game in our lives. Because here's the thing, when I learned about Legal Shield years ago, I told the individual that was telling me about it, I don't have any need to call attorneys, so I don't need Legal Shield, so thanks but no thanks, not interested. But he started asking me a few questions that established that there is a real need in my life for something like this. For example, why would you want to pull out this app and hit the button that says call your law firm? Well, maybe you have a question that you want to get answered to help you make a better decision. Maybe it's a real estate, divorce, bankruptcy, child custody, landlord-tenant issues, employment-related problem. You have questions you want to get answered, unlimited consultation on the phone anytime you want to. And you'll never have to worry about getting a legal bill a week later. So you can talk to them for hours at a time at no cost. On top of that, letters or phone calls made or written on your behalf. And I'm sure you would agree that a letter written on your law firm's letterhead will be a lot more powerful than you or I trying to resolve a matter, a dispute on our own. Give you a couple examples. I had a dry cleaner ruin a $48 dress shirt of mine. They refused to pay for a new one. And I felt that was wrong. Don't treat your customers like that. Well, it is what it is. Well, I called Legal Shield when I got home. My attorney wrote a letter to the dry cleaner on their letterhead. And I got a check in my mailbox the following week for the $48 to replace a shirt. Now, it's not $48. You wouldn't call an attorney for $48. I wouldn't call an attorney for $48, especially at $200 or $300 an hour. But if it's already paid for, why not? Why not have somebody step in and get somebody to treat you the way you should have been treated in the first place? I had an iPhone with Sprint, and after Hurricane Sandy came through Maryland years ago, my signal went from 4 bars to 1 or no bars, dropping calls all day long, and it was driving me crazy because I work from home. After 3 weeks of waiting for them to fix the tower, never got fixed. I asked my next door neighbor, "Hey, who do you use?" And he said, "Verizon." I said, "How's your signal?" He says, "It's perfect." So I said, "There's my answer." I went to Verizon. I got a brand new phone from them. When I did that, Sprint charged me $283 as an early termination fee for my contract that had 14 months left on it. I didn't think that was fair. That's not right. You can't hold me to a contract for services that don't work. Well, they said, "Yes, we are. Too bad." Well, when somebody tells me too bad, it kind of gets the hairs in the back of my neck to stick up. I'm like, that's not right. I call my Legal Shield law firm. My attorney said, "Let me handle this." He writes a letter on their letterhead to the Sprint legal department in Virginia. I got a phone call the next week from someone in their executive office, and she tells me that they got my attorney's letter. She apologized profusely. She said, "You should have been treated way better, Mr. Carruthers. We're so sorry about that. Thank you for being a customer for all these years. We know you already moved on. We can't change that now, but at least we want to make it right. So if you'll hold, we're going to put that $283 back on your card." I hung up the phone 5 minutes later with that $283 back in my hands. Again, it's amazing how these motivational letters on the law firm's letterhead work so well, but they do. They'll even review contracts and documents before you sign your name to them. If you get an IRS audit, they'll give you 50 hours a year of a tax attorney's time to go to the audit for you and handle it. If you get sued in a civil suit, they'll give you pretrial and trial defense time to defend you in a civil suit. If you have a family law situation where maybe an uncontested divorce, adoption, separation, name change, they'll do that for you at no cost, as long as you've been a member for at least 90 days for that part alone. Everything else kicks in right away, but that one, if you've had this for 90 days, they'll handle that kind of thing for you at no cost. Something that's huge. Auto insurance is already crazy high. Nobody wants to pay any more than they're already paying. But if you get pulled over for missing a stop sign, or you're going a little too fast, you get a couple points on your record, your insurance rates are going to go up. Nobody wants to pay more. But when you've got this app, you take a picture of the ticket, push a couple buttons, uploads right to your law firm, and when your trial day comes for traffic court, you can have an attorney fight that ticket for you. Now, I don't want you guys judging me, but over the last 20 years since I've had this Legal Shield membership, between Annapolis, Maryland and Ocean City, Maryland, where we have a beach house, that 2-hour stretch of Route 50, it's just nothing but speed traps up and down that entire road, and you just can't help it. Flow of traffic, you're not passing anybody, just flow of traffic. Everybody's getting pulled over. I had 5 tickets on that road over the last 20 years. All 5 times, Legal Shield had an attorney go to court, won all 5. I never had a single point in my record. So if you guys like to save money, my insurance rates have stayed low because of Legal Shield. Okay, so if you have teenage drivers, if you like me, if you're prone to getting pulled over from time to time, this is going to save you a fortune. This is a big one though. Will preparation. 70% of people in America don't have a last will and testament. 90% don't have an up-to-date will. 100% of us are going to need one. And look, I talk to people every single day about this. And I have people with children, people that are married or have children that don't even have their will. That's our final love letter to our loved ones, and people put it off until it's too late. I understand that a lot of times, because the cost is about $1,000 to get a law firm to draft one properly, a lot of times people put it off because they just don't want to spend that kind of money right now, especially if they think they have plenty of time. We don't know how much time we have. We need to have our household affairs in order. And believe me, the peace of mind, getting that monkey off your back, knowing that when you finally get it done, you just feel good, right? Well, Legal Shield's going to have a top attorney draw up your will, your living will, and your power of attorney. All that's done for you for free and updated every year for free. That's why I love doing these presentations. I've been doing these for 20 years. I don't know if you guys can tell how passionate I am about what I do. I'm actually a little hoarse I did a presentation a little bit ago, but I'm so elated about a chance to be able to share this information with people, because I know that I could save people $1,000 right away this week so they can get their will done and have it done for their family. Everything I've talked about, by the way, is all 100% paid for by your Legal Shield membership for you and your family. Anything I haven't talked about, by the way, criminal charge, or you need to go out and sue somebody, they'll give you a 25% discount on anything like that. But everything I've talked about is all paid for. Now, here's my favorite part. Let me spin the table. Let's pretend you're the attorney. I'm the client walking into your law firm. I said, look, I want you to handle all these legal services for my whole family, but I don't want to pay you by the hour. I want to give you 1 check a month to take care of it all. If you're my attorney, what would you charge my family per month to do all that for us, hypothetically? Most people quote me anywhere from $500 to $5,000 a month. At a couple $100 an hour, you expect it to be thousands a month, right? Well, Legal Shield, they don't charge thousands. They don't even charge hundreds. They do everything I share with you for your entire family for literally $24.95. Not even $25 a month. Not even the price of a bottle of water a day for your household to have what I just shared with you. I mean, look, you get your will done. That saves you $1,000. It pays for the membership for the next 4 years in value. So that's the first part of what we do. We are taking the legal system that we've all been priced out of, and one member, one family at a time, one membership at a time, we are changing that and opening up the courthouse doors and leveling the legal playing field. It feels amazing, and it's just a great mission to be a part of. The second problem that we're solving, identity theft, the fastest growing crime in the world. And I know that Jeannie Kelly helps a lot of people. She is very, very, very well known in her space, with people dealing with credit issues and identity theft issues and so forth. Why is an expert like Jeannie Kelly wanting me to share this information with you? Well, everybody needs access to the legal services when all kinds of things are going on in their lives. But what Jeannie comes across on a regular basis is people having their identity stolen and flipping their life upside down, inside out. I mean, it can wreak havoc in your life. And it's not just somebody stealing your credit card or tapping your bank account. Somebody can get a hold of your medical records, use your health insurance, your driver's license information. Somebody get your name and social. You say, well, I don't give out my social. Well, you've already given it out. You've ever gone to school? You ever had a job? You ever bought a home, bought a car, rented an apartment, joined a gym? 20 years ago, you got a Blockbuster card. Think about how many times you've given out your name, address, social, date of birth, and so forth. Well, anybody that works at any of those companies, it could be a minimum wage employee that needs money. They can have a criminal pay them $5,000 for a thumb drive with 20,000 people's information on it. So anyway, somebody gets your name and social. They get a 1099 sales job as a real estate agent in Florida. They're selling houses all year long. They never pay any income tax because it'll never get traced back to them. And then the IRS sends you a tax bill next year and then they say to you, if you don't pay this, we're coming after you. Who's going to solve that problem for you? Well, these are real life problems happening to millions of people. Equifax had a 157 million person breach. Uber, 57 million. Facebook, 30 million. Marriott, 4 months ago, 500 million people who stayed at a Marriott property, their information last year, gone. So ID Shield is going to provide the best solution that exists. It's not just having a credit monitoring service or like a LifeLock. Nothing wrong with having that, but it's very limited in scope of what it can do. ID Shield is the most comprehensive product. It's going to monitor not just your credit report, but everything about you on the World Wide Web 24/7. Look, you only get one identity. You can't swap it out. You can't return it. You can't start over and get a new one. You have your identity. It is who you are. It's your personal DNA. And the challenge is, once it's compromised, you're going to have a hard time in life with that. So we're going to monitor everything about you on the World Wide Web 24/7. They'll do a dark web scan to see if any of your information is already being used or sold out there. But here's a kicker, okay? When your identity is stolen, it's not if, but when. The Federal Trade Commission said the average victim is spending between 100 and 600 hours cleaning up their name and getting their identity restored. I don't know if you guys have that kind of time. I mean, a 40-hour work week. Can you imagine taking a couple months off of work, going out and doing all the legwork yourself to go out there and try to resolve this matter and get your identity back? Well, if you've got ID Shield, you'll sign a one-page limited power of attorney. ID Shield's going to have their best investigators in the whole space jump in and restore your identity back to pre-theft status. And they back it up with a $5 million service guarantee. Now, they do all of that. You're not going to have to pay anything else. And we're talking about literally $9.95 a month. A typical credit monitoring service out there is what, $15, $20 a month per person just to monitor your credit report? This does everything I just talked about for less, for $9.95. And if you're married and have up to 8 kids, a whole family for $24.95, just like the legal plan. So you take a look at these two services, $49.90 for both for the family or even less for an individual. And by the way, on the app, there is something called the Member Perks button. You guys are going to love this. Over 400 companies that have come to Legal Shield said, look, we want to offer your members discounts with us. Apple, Samsung, Sprint, Dell, Verizon, hotel stays, car rentals, flowers, 25% off of movie tickets. I went to Office Depot. I got $158 in printing done last month. I swiped my credit card at the cashier. It went down to $38. $158 to $38. I don't know what that is, 70% savings, just because I'm a member of Legal Shield. I paid for my membership for months, right? So you're going to save a ton of money with the perks, but also getting access to these two game-changing innovators that are opening up the doors and giving people access to the legal system for pennies on the dollar and protecting their very identity. Everybody needs these services. Everybody can afford these services. Most people just don't know about them. That's why Jeannie wanted me to come on and share this information with you. But she also talked about the residual income. And one of the things I can tell you, my background being in real estate, I was making a 6-figure income. I traded a lot of my time in life to get that kind of money coming in. And so I had good income, but no time freedom. I have a lot of friends that had plenty of time, but they had no money. None of us had a happy balance of both. But when I started getting around the most successful entrepreneurs, what I deem as success is not just having a bunch of money. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that are miserable. When I talk about successful, I'm talking about they've got financial freedom and they have time freedom. They're hanging out with their family during the week. They're going on vacations. I mean, they're always happy. And so when I learned about the residual income, I said, I've got to find a way to get involved with this company, because this company not only pays you every time you refer people to get these services, but they pay you month after month, year after year, residually on every one of these customers. Let me share with you how this works. So this compensation example is based on a person getting both the family plans, the legal plan and the ID Shield for the family. If they're individual, they pay less, you get paid proportionally. But that $49.90 combination, that referral that you made, the company's going to pay you a $60 commission upfront for each person that you refer. And after you get 4 of them signed up, you're going to actually get to a higher commission level. Now they're going to double it. And from that point forward, $120 for every single person that you refer. They go right on a link that was provided for you. They sign up, boom, you're getting paid. And that goes to $140, $160, $190, $230, all the way up to $280. So you're getting paid anywhere from $60 to $280 for every person that signs up because you told them about this. Look, you probably tell people about great movies, great restaurants, a great show on Netflix. You tell people about the apps that your mobile apps that you've used that you like. These don't get paid by these companies. Legal Shield is going to pay you to go out there and spread the word. Secondly, if you know anybody else that could use extra money or wants residual cash flow, you introduce them to the company. The company will pay them these same commissions we just talked about. You getting paid when you sign somebody up. When they sign people up, they get paid the same things, $60 to $280. But the company will pay you an additional override income, anywhere from $20 up to $180, because those numbers that you see on the screen there, they're cumulative, okay? So up to $180 for every person they sign up, you get paid as well. That's called leveraged income. You get paid linear income when you sign people up, leveraged income when your team members do. And by the way, there's all kinds of extra bonuses that you can earn along the way as you're doing well in the company. But let me give you a simple example of the power of leveraged income. Let's say you have a small team of 30 part-time Legal Shield associates that are just doing this on the side. And let's say each month they're marketing 5 of these memberships. $549 sales a month. Do you realize that your override income in your pocket would be $7,500 a month? Again, you have a part-time business on the side with Legal Shield. And you have 30 part-time people that you've assembled on your team. Let's say it took you all year to do it. Who cares? They're doing 5 sales a month, barely 1 a week. You're making $7,500 a month. Now you can see why I made so much money so quickly in Legal Shield, and I was able to retire by the time I was 28 years old. It's because of that power of leverage, but also the residual income. Look, one of the things that the real estate agent who told me about this, one of the things he did really smartly is he put me on the phone with somebody who was in this company for a handful of years. And this guy was telling me about how he had signed people up years before and how he was getting paid every month residual income on those customers that he had signed up one time and hadn't talked to since. I was blown away by that. I was making great money in real estate, but we didn't have residuals like that. So I got involved with Legal Shield back in September 1998, 20 years ago. And here it is 20 years later. I'm still getting paid residual income every single month from people I have not talked to in 20 years. I would never do anything if it doesn't have leverage and residual income attached. And one of my favorite authors and business coaches of all time, Jim Rohn, he always said, you work hard all day at your job to earn a living, but you should be working spare time, nights or weekends, building your fortune. There's a reason why I decided to get involved with Legal Shield part-time. There's a reason why Jeannie Kelly decided to get involved with Legal Shield part-time. It's great to be a part of, I spoke at a conference at GoPro a couple of years ago. I've been doing it for eight years in a row now. I spoke on stage with Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Pitbull, unbelievable entrepreneurs. And Tony Robbins said, the only way for a human to feel more alive is to be a part of something bigger than himself. And that's exactly what I feel. We've got a chance to be a part of this crusade, this mission of equal justice in the law and protecting people their very identities. But we have all kinds of extra trips and incentives and all kinds of cool stuff that you can learn about as you get going here. But when I got started in this business 20 years ago, I paid a one-time $249 startup fee to get it all set up. I turned that into my first $1 million in 2.5 years. Okay, so I can look back and say it was the best decision I've ever made business-wise ever. Our new CEO, Jeff Bell, who came aboard a few years ago, he brought the technology to the table. We've got mobile apps. We've got the contact management system on a mobile app that comes with everything that you need. One of the things he said is, look, we now with technology, we can onboard new marketing associates without needing $249. He said, we can do it now for less. So it's now not even $100, $99 one time to get everything set up. You own your own business. You own it. You can sell it. You can will it to your kids. You earn the lifetime residual income on all those customers. They provide weekly training and support. We got a mobile app, like I said, that you can use for your contact management. It's going to send out automatic emails for you to do your follow-up campaigns. Everything's provided. The only ongoing business expense we have in Legal Shield to run this business as big or as small as you want, $20 a month. I make more money in a month than I used to make in a year in real estate. And my only ongoing fixed expense I have in this business is $20 a month. Unbelievable how great this model is. And the best way to predict future performance is to take a look at the past. What has the company done so far? What has it done lately? Well, we got hundreds of people that are earning 6- and 7-figure incomes. We got over 254 people now that are now in the Millionaire Club, having earned over $1 million in income. Last year, $118 million paid out to us going out and making these referrals in the marketplace. You can see on the screen there, Mike Humes, he was a mailman in Maryland when I was doing this presentation, came out, saw what was going on, said, hey, I want to get started up with this business part-time on the side from working for the post office. He's now made $7 million in Legal Shield. There's a picture of my wife and I. We're stay-at-home parents now with our 12-year-old, our 2-year-old, and our 5-month-old. Our kids have no idea what it'd be like to have a parent working outside of the house. And if I was still in real estate, I wouldn't be able to have that kind of lifestyle freedom. If I had a traditional job or traditional business, I wouldn't have that. But thankfully, I was, wise enough to take a look at this opportunity and say, you know what? I'm going to work it a couple hours a week part-time on the side for my real estate career and see where it goes. Well, guess what? It went well, right? So very, very excited to be able to share this information with you guys. And here's what I would encourage you to do is, everybody, we have less than 3% market penetration. 97 out of 100 people out there that they have no idea that these services exist. So I would get with Jeannie. She can give you a link and get the services. Try the services out. Be a product of the product. Get your will done. You use it. Get a question answered. Get all your identity put into the system so it can be monitored, and you can sleep better at night knowing that you've got the best service and that exists out there watching over you like that. So definitely become a customer. But I would say just get registered as an associate as well. I mean, you have nothing to lose and all to gain by doing that. Because again, I've got my 4th book coming out in July. It's called Untrapped Freedom Manifesto. And the reason why I'm so excited about it is because I love helping people make a shift from either being an employee stuck in a W-2 environment where they're trading their time for money to making the shift to becoming an entrepreneur, even if it's just a part-time at first, becoming an entrepreneur where they can eventually have the financial and time freedom. Also, people that are business owners. I have a lot of friends and a lot of people I've been coaching for the last 20 years, thousands of people that are business owners that eventually said that their business ended up owning them. Everything was on their shoulders all the time. If somebody called out sick, they had to be there. I mean, the overhead, the stress, it was eating them alive. And so they want to find a business model like this where it's scalable. You can build it as big as you want from your home office, no employees, no overhead, no stress. That's the power of this. So again, I would get back with Jeannie right away today and let her know that you saw what we shared. You're excited that you were invited to take a look at this. She can give you a link. Become a member of the services. Become an associate. We're going to put a very small team together. Okay, we just need about 6 to 10 people that we're going to put together at the beginning here. Once we have that marketing team together, we're going to go on an expansion campaign and bring a lot of associates all across North America on board to become a part of the team to go out there and help us with the marketing. And those of you all that are getting involved right now at this stage of the game, you're going to be positioned very well to earn overrides and residuals on all those customers that those folks are going to be bringing to the table. So I appreciate your time, and I wanted to keep this under half an hour, which we did. So I'm looking forward to hearing back that you guys have joined the team, because anybody that joins Jeannie Kelly will be working with you together. So have a fantastic rest of your day and look forward to working with you. Take care.